Let's take a commercial, little break here, musical break. All right, here we go. Back to the show, the showstopper. Been live streaming now for 5 hours. This guy here, clinically dead 6 minutes.
Hello, my name is Philip Hossider, and I live on a Wisconsin farm where we pasture graze beef cattle. I've also written a lot. I have over 32 books published, and my most recent one is the book that I'm going to talk about today. It was an early October morning, about 11 o'clock, when I found myself becoming an expert on dying. But also, I found I became an expert on hope. Through no fault of my own, I was dead on our local hospital's fitness room floor for over 6 minutes after having completed a modest 20 arm curls. Why it happened at that particular point in time, in that particular space, with all the available help. At some point, we all carry the DNA of that God essence, that divine creator, that source.
You're assuming that. You're saying you understood, but you're making an assumption.
Of all creation. We all carry that with us, wherever
I disagree.
we are within the...
It doesn't fit the evidence. What you're saying does not fit the evidence.
That's how long you were gone. So I've been asked what I've learned from all this. And there's a number of things. And in different areas. I mean,
6 minutes felt like centuries.
One of the things I learned is that our bodies are really more than the sum of its parts. And by that I mean, when I was standing next to the arm curl machine, I had all the body parts, 2 arms, 2 legs, head, 2 eyes, 2 ears, a heart, kidneys, so on. I had all the same body parts as when I was lying dead on the floor, except for one thing. And that was that individual spark, that inner essence of myself, my soul, if you want to use another word, that had gone. And that's the part of me that was in that other dimension. And so once they finally...
Spirit, not soul, not spark. Spirit.
I needed to come back to be a conduit of hope for those who don't have any or don't...
Oh, a conduit of hope. Wow. Really?
I was told I had something else to do. So that's...
You have a mission, another Matrix miracle.
I mean, it's a choice. It's a choice like I had, well, I could turn right to get my tires changed, or I could turn left and go to a fitness center.
What choice do deformed children have when they're born deformed and disabled? What about children that get leukemia at age 2? Is that their choice? Don't spew that life is just choices. Bullshit.
Unbeknownst to me, that's where I got the help. So I think we are given choices that we can make, and
Again, what about abused children? What choice did they have? There's many examples that prove you wrong, old fool.
we often have to live with the consequences of our choices.
What about children that are abused? What's their choice?
So that was another important thing that I learned, that take ownership of what choice you do make.
Listen to that. You learned that. He thinks he learned some big lessons. You're foolish. You never looked at how this realm works. You're that old with gray hair. You never examined this place.
Because you made it. Nobody, unless you're having someone else direct your life, you're the...
Unless you had somebody listen to you. There's millions of children abused every day in this realm. There's countless born that are blind. There's countless that have some form of cancer, blood cancers, brain cancers, leukemia, all sorts. They didn't choose that. It wasn't a choice. It wasn't a decision they made. There's children born disabled from birth, deformed. It's not a choice. It can go on and on and on and on and on. There's millions of things in this realm that are not a choice. But fools like you want to say it's all a choice. Doesn't make any sense. You're not making sense.
And we often have to live with the consequences of our choices. Choice. It's a choice like I had, well, I could turn right to get my tires changed, or I could turn left and go to a fitness center.
Or you could get slammed head on by an 18-wheeler. Is that your choice? That somebody ran into you and you could end up paralyzed. Is that your choice?
Unbeknownst to me, that's,
You're an old fool that believes himself to be wise. You're foolish.
I got the help. So I think we are given choices that we can...
You're given some choices. You can walk into a Baskin Robbins and choose chocolate ice cream or strawberry or Rocky Road or pralines and cream. You can do that. You could choose a flavor of ice cream, or you could choose a sundae or a banana split, or I think they have coffees there as well, or different drink milkshakes maybe and things like that. You can make those trivial choices. Absolutely. You can go into a grocery store and choose what kind of coffee you want to buy and brew at home. This brand or that brand. You could choose Pepsi or Coca-Cola. Big deal. Trivial choices.
Make. And we
think you have the universe figured out because you drove one way instead of another way. The Matrix set you up, dum-dum.
often have to live with the consequences of our choices. So that was another...
They set you up for this role, dummy.
...important thing that I learned. That take ownership of what choice you do make, because you made it. Nobody... Unless you're having someone else direct your life, you're the one ultimately that makes the choices.
How the fuck would you know that your life isn't directed? with a life script. I can go on about things you've never considered. You're old and foolish. And the reason I keep mentioning he's old, he's had a lot of years to think about this stuff. Never bothered. He just had an experience and thinks, well, I have it all figured out now.
And you can blame other people for
Here we go. They'll call it blame other people.
happens to you, but it still comes back to the person who directed your life. You're the one ultimately that makes the choices. And you can
They'll call you negative or a complainer or a crybaby or say you're blaming other people if you speak the truth about how this realm actually works. There's starving children right now, millions in this world. Is that their choice? They're making bad choices and then they're starving as a consequence? You're old and foolish. You don't make sense. You're an old fool. You had all these years to really think about it, and you find yourself to be wise, but you're foolish.
blame other people for what happens to you, but it still comes back to the person who made the choice in the first place.
There you go.
So there
What
were
about genetic disorders? How's that a choice?
a couple other things that I want to mention.
There's millions of things in this realm that disprove what he just said, but he's so foolish that he believes himself to be wise. That's why he said it.
We are here to learn. This is what I've
Here you
learned.
go. We are here to learn. To learn what? Millions of others that have had NDEs have said the same thing, and it doesn't make any sense. You're just carbon copies. You're cookie cutter. You're the same as so many other fools.
From my experience. We are here to learn in this dimension. We aren't here to be punished. This is what I've learned from my experience. We are in the first place. So there were a couple other things that I want to mention. We are here to learn. This is what I've learned from my experience. We are here to learn in this dimension. We aren't here to be punished. We aren't here to be ground down to nothing. We are here to experience this life in a body form that we could not experience in our higher selves, our higher energetic essence in that other dimension. I like to use an example or a metaphor. In 1951, I made a choice to get onto the superhighway off-ramp, the energetic superhighway off-ramp, and come down into this lower dimension, lower energetic dimension. I was born with my parents. I was raised by them. I've now spent roughly 73 years here. And when I have
73 years here and wasted that time being foolish.
used up all the fuel in my body, which will happen, I will leave it finally.
He's almost in tears. Look at this.
But I'll get on the on-ramp to that energetic superhighway, and I will go
You're
on
assuming that. I think you'll be right back here in another body with no memory of this life, who you knew, who you loved, who you didn't like, your experiences, learned nothing.
to another experience somewhere
You learn
else,
nothing.
because I will always exist. Not in this form, but in the form that
No, you'll get recycled. Reincarnation, dum-dum.
makes all the difference. That eternal energetic essence, that DNA of the creator, the God essence
DNA of the creator. Listen to this.
that I mentioned before. That is how we will continue to exist until we may embody in another dimension somewhere else, in all those that I had seen, that we then do something else. I don't know what could be better than that,
You don't know anything. You're assuming. You don't know. You're just assuming shit.
because we just keep going onto our next experience
He
until
thinks that's great because you had a relatively easy lifetime here this time, didn't you?
our soul finally learns everything it's supposed to learn, and then I think
What is it? What is your quote soul, as you call it, learning here?
turn into spiritual guides for other people. That's my belief. Now,
That's all it is a belief. That's all it is.
people can believe what they want, but from what I've seen, that is the evolution that makes the most sense to me. Two things I'd like to leave with anyone who listens.
You said that makes the most sense to you, but you don't make sense. You blame people's lifetimes here of suffering and misery and pain and starvation and illness and disabilities on them and their choices. That doesn't add up at all. You don't make any sense. I'm pointing my finger as I'm speaking right at the screen at him. You don't make sense. And I would do this in person. If he was 3 feet away from me or 5 feet away, I'd point the finger and say, you don't make sense. Some of these old fools need to be told that. They've never heard it in their life. They've gone through life in this realm believing that they know best and they have things figured out. You don't make any sense. You're blaming innocent children for their suffering and calling it their choice.
To this. The first is that love in
Here we
recognizing
go with the love matrix bullshit program.
the divinity of everyone we meet, we don't meet, everyone we
Not
like
everyone here is divine. There's demons in this fucking realm, you old fool.
or don't like, is the reason for our journey in this dimension.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Gaslighting bullshit.
And the second thing
I
is
call bullshit.
that hope is the pathway on this journey on which
Hopium, you have false hope. You've never looked into recycling, reincarnation. You don't know what's going on. You just hope for the best. You have a belief.
we all can walk. That is what we can do. If we
Don't speak. Don't say we. Don't speak for me.
choose, and the choice is there, and it's available.
What a dummy. He ended up saying nothing. Another zombie. Exactly. He's just another zombie. That's all he is. An old foolish zombie. You know, I don't hate that generation, but I don't like them nearly as much as I might have when I was 5, 6, or 10 years old. At this point, I've just basically that generation is so fucked up. There's so many of them that are fucked up. They believe they know it all. He might not. He might even be just a paid actor. It might be real. there's a lot that could be saying bullshit like that. There's a lot of dummies in this realm that are zombies. But yeah, he might not believe. That's another possibility. He might not believe what he's saying. He came across to me that he did. That's the signs I got out of him. My intuition says that he actually did go through that, and he believes his shit. He believes himself to be wise, and he thinks he has it figured out, or he believes he has it figured out, and he doesn't. That whole generation, there's a lot of them 70, 80 years old that feel like they have everything figured out, and they don't. These old boomers. Now, it's not every boomer, but it's 99 point something percent that I've ever encountered believe that they have all this figured out. They believe they're going to heaven. They believe this. They believe that, and they really don't know jack shit in the end. Just a bunch of fucking zombies. Agents of the Matrix. Here's Rat Blood, this creature. I noticed this Frank Shithead character's over there.